Welcome to the Health Headliner podcast by Tudu Digital. Our content is informational only and not medical advice. Please consult your provider. Now, let's dive into today's headlines.
We all know aging is inevitable, but have you ever wondered what's really happening inside our bodies as we get older? Like what's actually going on at the cellular level?
Right.
Turns out some of our cells are turning into what scientists are calling zombie cells.
Interesting.
These cells, they've stopped dividing, but they refuse to die off.
Oh, wow.
And their presence might be linked to the chronic inflammation we experience as we age.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We actually got some research from Sanford Burnham Preetes and their collaborators that explores this connection.
Interesting.
It was published in Nature Communications. So what do you think about this? What's going on here?
Yeah, well, it's a really intriguing area of study. The research digs into something called cellular senescence, which is basically the process where cells stop dividing.
Okay.
And it's actually a natural part of aging. But here's the thing. As we get older, our immune systems become less efficient at clearing out these senescent zombie cells.
Oh, okay.
So they kind of build up.
So it's not necessarily that we're producing more of these zombie cells as we age.
Right.
But our bodies are having a harder time getting rid of them.
That's a key point, yes.
Yeah.
And what's even more fascinating is that these senescent cells, they aren't just passively hanging around.
Okay.
They're actively secreting inflammatory molecules. Scientists call this the senescence-associated secretory phenotype,
Okay.
or SASP.
So that's SASP.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Essentially, these cells are contributing to a chronic state of inflammation
Okay.
as we age, which is sometimes called inflammaging.
Inflammaging.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is linked to various age-related diseases.
So these zombie cells are causing inflammation.
Right.
And this inflammation is potentially contributing to conditions like heart disease.
Exactly.
And Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
It sounds like a vicious cycle.
It is. It really is. And this study actually goes a step further.
Okay.
It investigates the role of a specific protein called tumor protein P53 in suppressing SASP.
Tumor protein P53. Okay.
It's known for its role in DNA repair
Okay.
and even triggering cell death in damaged cells.
So the researchers are looking at whether this tumor protein P53
Yeah,
can also help control the inflammatory response
exactly.
coming from these senescent cells.
Precisely. They conducted experiments
Okay.
using human cells that were made to become senescent through exposure to radiation.
Interesting.
And what they found
Okay.
was that tumor protein P53 could indeed suppress SACP.
So it sounds like they're really trying to understand the mechanisms behind how this protein could potentially help manage the negative effects of these zombie cells.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
And their findings point to a potential cellular circuit
Okay.
that involves DNA repair, genome integrity, and inflammation.
So DNA repair, genome integrity, and inflammation.
Yes. They also discovered a link between dysfunctional mitochondria, the powerhouses of our cells,
Right, yeah.
and the formation of something called cytoplasmic chromatin fragments.
Cytoplasmic chromatin fragments.
Yes. These are essentially bits of DNA that escape from the cell's nucleus.
Hold on, let's break that down a bit. How do these cytoplasmic chromatin fragments contribute to the problem?
Well, think of the cell's nucleus as a vault
Okay.
that protects our DNA.
Right.
But when these fragments of DNA, they escape from the nucleus,
Okay.
it actually triggers an immune response.
Yeah.
Similar to how our bodies react to a virus or bacteria.
Oh, I see.
And this immune response actually contributes to even more inflammation.
So these escaped DNA fragments are essentially setting off alarm bells in the immune system,
Exactly.
adding fuel to the fire of inflammation
Right.
already caused by the senescent cells themselves.
Exactly. And to make matters worse,
Oh, no.
the researchers found that stress mitochondria, those dysfunctional powerhouses we talked about, also reduce the production of tumor protein P53.
So not only are these dysfunctional mitochondria creating more of these inflammatory DNA fragments, but they're also hindering the very protein that could help suppress the inflammation.
Exactly.
It sounds like a double whammy.
It is. It's a complex interplay of factors, but this study really sheds light on a potential pathway that could be targeted for treatment.
Okay.
If we can boost tumor protein P53 activity and address the issue of dysfunctional mitochondria,
Right.
we might be able to manage the negative effects of these senescent zombie cells
Okay.
and promote healthier aging.
This is all incredibly fascinating. So they focused on this tumor protein P53
Right.
and how it relates to inflammation in these zombie cells. But what did they actually do in their research?
Well, they took things a step further by moving on to experiments with mice.
Okay.
They treated aged mice with a drug specifically designed to activate tumor protein P53.
Interesting.
This drug is currently being explored by cancer researchers.
Wow.
It's called HDM-201.
HDM-201. Okay. And what were the results of treating these mice with HDM-201? Did it have any effect on the number of senescent cells?
Interestingly enough, the drug didn't actually reduce the number of senescent cells,
Oh, interesting.
but it did have a significant impact on the inflammatory response.
So even though the drug didn't eliminate the zombie cells altogether, it managed to quiet them down, so to speak.
Exactly, yeah.
Did they see any other effects of this treatment in the mice?
Yes. They observed a reversal of what we call the cellular signature of SAP.
Okay.
So that means the inflammatory pollution coming from those senescent cells was reduced.
Gotcha.
They also found that HDM-201 reversed some age-associated changes in gene expression, particularly those related to inflammation and immune response.
So there's potential for this drug to actually counteract some of the negative effects of aging at a cellular level.
That's right.
This research is pointing to a potential game changer in how we approach age-related diseases.
Absolutely. It's a fascinating area of study with the potential to change how we think about aging
Right.
and the possibilities for intervention.
It certainly seems like we're on the cusp of some groundbreaking discoveries. What else did this study reveal about these senescent cells and their connection to aging?
Well, one particularly intriguing finding relates to the mitochondria.
Okay.
You know, those cellular powerhouses we mentioned earlier.
Right.
They discovered that these mitochondria are often dysfunctional
Okay.
in senescent cells. And this dysfunction contributes to the formation of those cytoplasmic chromatin fragments
Yeah.
that trigger the immune response.
Right.
They also found that these stressed mitochondria reduce the production of tumor protein P53.
It sounds like a bit of a catch-22.
It is.
The dysfunctional mitochondria are contributing to the inflammation while simultaneously hindering the very protein that could help control it.
Yes. It's a very complex web of interactions,
Yeah.
but this research is providing crucial insights into the mechanisms at play. By understanding these pathways, we can potentially develop targeted therapies to mitigate the negative effects of cellular senescence.
It's all incredibly complex,
Yeah.
but you're doing a great job of breaking it down for us. So we've got these zombie cells creating inflammation,
Right.
dysfunctional mitochondria adding fuel to the fire,
Yeah.
and this tumor protein P53 that could potentially offer a solution. What are the researchers suggesting as the next steps in this line of research?
Well, they emphasize the need for further research to explore the potential of targeting this pathway,
Okay.
particularly by boosting tumor protein P53 activity
Right.
and preventing the negative effects of dysfunctional mitochondria.
Okay.
They also suggest investigating the potential of HDM-201 and other drugs that target this pathway as potential therapies for age-related diseases.
This is all so exciting.
It is.
But I imagine there are also some limitations to this study that we should discuss, right?
You're absolutely right. While this research is incredibly promising, it's important to acknowledge its limitations.
So what are some of the caveats we should keep in mind when interpreting these findings?
Well, one of the key limitations is that most of the research was conducted in cells in mice.
Oh, okay.
While these models are really essential for scientific discovery, they don't always perfectly mirror human biology.
Right. It's not like we can just start giving people this HGM-201 drug
No,
based on these promising results in mice.
exactly. More research is needed to determine if these findings translate to humans
Okay.
and to really understand the potential benefits and risks
Right.
of targeting this pathway in people.
So human trials would be the next step
Exactly.
to see if this could actually work as a treatment
Yes.
for age-related diseases.
Precisely. And even then, there's a lot more to consider.
Okay.
For example, they observed some sex differences
Okay.
in how HDM-201 affected the mice.
Interesting.
The drug actually had a more pronounced effect in female mice, suggesting that there might be sex-specific variations in how this cellular pathway operates.
So potential treatments might need to be tailored to individuals
Yes.
based on their sex.
Absolutely. That adds another layer of complexity.
Yeah, for sure.
And keep in mind,
Okay.
this study focused specifically on senescence induced by DNA damage.
Right.
That's certainly relevant to aging.
Yeah.
But there are other types of cellular senescence
Okay.
that haven't yet been explored in this context.
It's a reminder that aging is incredibly complex.
Yes.
And we're only beginning to unravel all of its mysteries.
That's a great point. We've uncovered this really fascinating piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
But there's still much more to learn about how cellular senescence contributes to aging and how we might be able to intervene effectively and safely.
But even with those limitations, this research is incredibly exciting.
It is.
It's pointing toward a potential way to address not just one age-related disease, but perhaps many of them, by targeting these underlying cellular processes.
It really is. It's kind of a paradigm shift in how we think about aging.
Okay.
Rather than just treating symptoms, we're starting to explore ways to address the root causes of age-related decline.
This study focused on the role of tumor protein P53 and dysfunctional mitochondria in cellular senescence and inflammation. Were there any other significant findings that stood out to you?
Well, the study also delves into the connection between cytoplasmic chromatin fragments and the immune response. It provides a more nuanced understanding of how these fragments contribute to chronic inflammation.
Gotcha.
It really highlights the importance of maintaining what we call genome integrity, which essentially means keeping our DNA safe and sound within the nucleus.
So it's not just about preventing damage to our DNA, but also about ensuring that those damaged bits are contained and don't trigger an inflammatory cascade.
Exactly. It's a multi-layered problem that requires a multifaceted approach.
This research has certainly given us a lot to ponder about the complexities of aging and the potential avenues for intervention. What are your overall thoughts on the direction of this field and the possibilities for the future?
You know, I'm incredibly optimistic about the future of aging research. We're moving beyond simply accepting aging as an inevitable decline and starting to explore ways to intervene and promote healthier, more vibrant aging. This study and others like it are really paving the way for a new era of understanding and intervention.
It's an exciting time to be alive, especially with all of these breakthroughs in aging research. What would you say to our listener who is eager to learn more about this topic and potentially even contribute to this field of study?
I'd encourage them to stay curious and engaged. There are countless resources available online and in libraries to learn more about aging research. And for those who want to contribute directly, there are opportunities to volunteer in research labs, participate in citizen science projects, or even pursue a career in science.
It's amazing to think that we might actually be on the verge of developing treatments that could target these fundamental processes of aging.
I know, it's pretty amazing.
But as with any kind of groundbreaking scientific advancement, it's important to consider all the potential implications.
Absolutely. The prospect of actually extending lifespan and health span, it raises a lot of important questions about societal impact, resource allocation, and even like our understanding of what it means to be human.
It really makes you wonder what a world with significantly less age-related disease would look like. Would we face challenges related to overpopulation? Or strain on resources?
Potentially.
How would our social structures and economies adapt to a longer-lived population?
Those are all valid questions that we as a society need to really grapple with as this research progresses. It's crucial to have thoughtful discussions about the potential consequences of extending human lifespans and to ensure that these advancements benefit society as a whole.
It's a lot to consider.
It is.
But it's a conversation we need to have.
Absolutely.
This isn't just science fiction anymore. It's becoming a tangible possibility.
It is. And it's a possibility that requires careful consideration and ethical guidance as we move forward. We need to make sure that access to these potential treatments is equitable. And that we're prepared for the societal shifts that might accompany a longer-lived population.
It's a good reminder that scientific progress doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's intertwined with social, ethical, and economic considerations.
Exactly. This research on cellular senescence and its role in aging has the potential to transform human health. But it's crucial that we approach these advancements with both enthusiasm and a sense of responsibility.
Well, this deep dive has been incredibly enlightening.
It has been.
We've explored the science of zombie cells, dysfunctional mitochondria,
Right.
and the potential of targeting these pathways to promote healthier aging. It's clear that we're on the cusp of some major breakthroughs,
Yes.
but it's also crucial that we proceed thoughtfully
Absolutely.
and address all of the potential implications.
I agree. It's a really exciting time for aging research.
Yeah.
And the future holds immense promise.
A huge thank you to our expert for guiding us through this fascinating and complex topic.
You're welcome.
And to our listeners, we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity and left you pondering the possibilities of a future where we can age more healthily and live more fulfilling lives.
It's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you both.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the world of knowledge.
Thanks for tuning in to the Health Headliner podcast by To Digital. Like and subscribe for more health news and breakthroughs. Stay healthy and informed. See you next time.